Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for June's art tag. I know we're nearly halfway through the year. So this is my tag journal, if you haven't seen it already. So this is the one I created for the start of the year for the 12 tags of 2026. So we'll just go to the next available one and we'll just take that out so that we are nice and ready. Sometimes they stick together because I tend to load lots of glue on. That was last month, so the theme for last month was words, and which was done on May the 16th. So what date is it today? It's Friday the 12th, so we're not that far off, are we? So the theme for June then is gonna be texture. So far, just to recap, we've had, like I said, words in May, found in April, layers in March, marks in February, and then initiate in January. And in January, I ended up doing 2 because the camera didn't record for some strange reason. So we've got textures for June. So I've gone through my collection of stuff because I was looking at bits and pieces that I could use that I've already got of stuff which would give a little bit of depth, loads and loads of texture in my art journal. So I'm going to be gluing a lot of different stuff down that I found just lying around, making use with what I've got. So first of all, I'm going to just grab the tag, open it up. Don't tell me this is a brand new one and I've not taken the plug out yet. It is, it's brand new, look, and I haven't even taken the plug out. Right, that's fine, I thought I had done. That's probably because it's a different one. There we go, that's the one that I've already got open. Alright, so I'm going to put, don't tell me that's, just use this feather. There we go, just a little bit of a glue plug in there. I will be using that feather too, but I'll explain about that in a minute. Right, I'm using the Indigo Blue Grab and Go because it's a strong glue. And to start off with, because we're talking about texture, I've got a lump of bubble wrap. And I'm actually going to not use it for making marks. That's actually going to go down as the first layer on my tag for my textures. The next layer, I've got a strip of burlap. So, and I'm going to put the glue on the back of the burlap, just down the middle. And then I'm going to lay that just slightly offset from the centre. There we go, and I'm just pushing it gently so that the glue actually goes through into the fibres of the fabric. Alright, so the next layers, I've got some of my Carte Noir rings shapes here. So these are the ones that are black on one side, white on the other. And I thought these would make a nice addition for some texture in the background. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue all the way around those. And I'm going to put one towards the top in a kind of composition. It doesn't matter which side I use. I'm going to put some paint on this anyway. We'll add one down there halfway-ish, and we're going to add some more around there, and we'll place that down towards the bottom. I'm just going to tuck that one underneath, and it doesn't matter if you go off a little bit, that's not a problem at all. Alright, so the next layer I'm going to add for texture is some corrugated cardboard. So again, most of us have got lots and lots and lots of this lying around, particularly if we're Amazon shopping. And I'm going to place that into the middle. So we've got that nice kind of composition just there. And then the next thing I'm going to add is I've got one of these distressed leaves. So this, I've laser cut this from my Carte Noire cardstock. So this is fairly substantial. It's kind of definitely, it's 1.5 millimeters thick. So 1500 microns. And I'm going to just glue that down like so. And it doesn't matter the fact not all of it's going to be touching. I've gone all over there just so I know that it's going to be catching wherever it lands. And then just push that down like so. And then to finish off, I'm going to add some natural texture with this bird's feather. So when we woke up this morning, our garden was strewn with feathers. So it looks as though we've had a visitor overnight, and unfortunately a pigeon has lost its life. So I don't know whether it was a cat or whether it was a fox, but literally there are just feathers everywhere. We can't find any evidence of a carcass or a body. Only the feathers remain, and the majority of them are underneath our Christmas tree. So in honour of the missing pigeon, I'm going to stick this feather down into the project. There we go. And now what I need to do is I need to leave that to set and dry before I do anything else. All right, so it's now been about half an hour. So everything's stuck. It's all stuck, I'm hoping. Right, so I'm gonna just give all the elements a quick brush over with white gesso. I'm just going to put some down on the worktop here. I'm going to turn it round because I don't want to go against the grain as far as that feather's concerned. So what I'm going to try and do is just kind of unify as much of that background as possible. It's horrible when you wake up in the morning and find the garden strewn with bird feathers, because you just know exactly what's happened. It's happened a couple of times, but we're not sure whether it is a cat or whether it is a local fox. We do know we have got foxes. But you know, what can you do? You know, as a wise man once said, it's nature. It is nature, unfortunately. I just wish they'd do the nature thing in somebody else's garden rather than mine, because it's definitely not nice to wake up to. Okay, I don't want to go too heavy with the gesso to start off with. I want to do a couple of layers. And I also want to give it just a little bit of time to breathe between applications. particularly on that bubble wrap, because with it being a plastic, the gesso will give it a little bit of a tooth, whereas normal plastic, the paint, any sort of paint, would just roll straight off it. It just bead and you just roll it. Whereas the gesso, because it contains like a chalk medium, it will hold it. So, right, wash my brush, get that dry, clean this up, and then I'll be right back. All right, doors opened, my shed again, so you might be able to hear the birds tweeting in the background and the wind. It's not raining, thank goodness. Anyway, so the tag is dry. I did help it along with the heat gun, which means that some of the bubble wrap at the back has actually shriveled up, it's shrunk, which is fine, don't mind that at all. So what I want to do is I want to add in some paint colours now. So I'm going to be using a natural kind of palette today. So we've got umber, I've got burnt sienna, I've got tiger orange, I've got lime green. So all four of these colours I'm hoping to get into the project somewhere. So first of all, I'm going to get the umber. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on my desktop, take a paintbrush and add a little bit of water because I want it to be fairly runny. The liquid acrylics anyway, so you know, that's just the nature of the beast with these things, which is good. So I want to just, what I call, frazzle it with the end of the brush, just to kind of give it that background texture. So a very sort of naturalistic palette today. And most of the darker colours in the background, a little bit where we've got a little bit of shadow. And it will pool a little bit, and then if you come back in with the water, it will just blend, and then you can tip it and run it around like so, and it will just create that kind of lovely texture in that background. So that was the umber. All right, so I'll just give that a quick whiz with the heat gun. Right, I wouldn't worry if you don't get everything, because we can just pick up with a little bit of kitchen towel. Right, so next on with the burnt sienna. Again, another brown. Bit of water. And again, let's just get in there. Just creates that little bit of contrast. And then I'll just start adding a little bit onto that feather. So again, heat gun. Okay, so now let's add in some of those coloured highlights. Ooh, quite a lot there. And again, it is a fairly strong colour. Now I'm going to just start adding oh, that was my computer telling me I've just received an email. So what I'm going to try and do is try and just concentrate with the orange and the brown more towards this side of the tag. So the top right hand side. So almost if you draw a diagonal line down the tag that way, following the line sort of where the feather is. A little bit under there. So lots of people contacting me this afternoon. Facebook's been down for the past 4 hours or so here in the UK. I know it's been down a lot everywhere else, but because people haven't been able to get in touch, now that it's back up again, they're all trying to do it at once. Okay, so quick dry off with that. And then next, I'm going to turn the tag round and put some of that. That is rather wowy, isn't it? Dangerous times, interesting times. All right, let's get that under there. Is quite strong, definitely quite strong, but that's all right. Hoo-hoo. Very strong. Okie dokes. I see some remedial action needed. Crikey, I didn't realise it was that strong. But that's all right, because it's salvageable, it's not ruined. All right, so now I'm going to come back in with some of that umber, just to kind of knock it back a little bit, because that really is quite strong. Just a bit, touch of water, whip it round, and then we can just come in and then just see what I mean. We can just knock it back just so that it's not quite as in your face. And just come in with that feather down there. And then just while we've got the brush, we can just use some of the moisture left behind just to come in, and maybe just add a tiny little of that darker colour towards the top. It just helps to tone it down just a little bit. So once again, just give it a quick blast. Okay, and then just to finish off, I'm going to take that gesso, different brush, flatter brush, And then I'm just going to very, very gently start adding just a little bit of dry brushing back in. And it just helps to pick bits out, edges, texture. It's almost like a little bit of frosting. You see how it's picking up that delicate texture within the in the feather again. Just a little bit there. There we go, I think. So I just need to get that dried off, cleaned up, and then I think we're going to call it a day. All right, so now that it's dried, we can see all that lovely kind of texture in the background, down there at the bottom with the burlap, the bubble wrap that's all crusty, the circles, the leaf, the corrugated cardboard, all that lovely stuff under there. And it actually just looks like a pile of stuff, maybe that you found out, a pile of natural stuff that you may have found out in the garden. There we go. So just want to finish off. I'm going to turn it over first. I'm just going to write on the back the theme for the month, which is textures, and today's date, which is the 12th of June 2026. So I think that's all the information we've included. Yes, that's all the information we've included. So I can flip that back over now and just add the last bit onto. So I just wanted to add a little bit of a quote. So I've got one of my Tim Holtz chip words, and I'm just going to add that right there at the end. And I've just added a little bit of distress on the edges, just to kind of finish it off. So I can now add that into my journal. Hello, Mr. Bentley is coming because it's time for WALKs, which also means time for food. So there we go. So that is my art tag for June with the theme of textures. So I hopefully we'll be able to see some of the tags that you create along with me this month over on the Mike Deakin's Creative Collective Facebook group. That's the URL on the screen there. So if you do create anything, and please share on there, because I'd love to be able to see what you've done with the theme this month. So that's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive Angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.